a battery I ordered for my generator, house generator, and I ordered it, and there was no specifications on the battery, and it said it weighed 1 pound. Well, it's about the size of a car battery. It can't weigh 1 pound. So sorry I'm late.
No problem. Huey's doing fine. He's actually logged in and listening, but he doesn't have enough bandwidth to do the video. But he's fine. He is not doing us any part of the show today because he just doesn't have. He can't. He doesn't have any ability to produce videos because he doesn't have power. So he can only work up at the center. But he's okay, and he should probably be fully functioning by next week.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I was down there, well, in 2021, I was in Orlando for a meeting, and somehow because of this show, I feel like he's a close friend, and you know, and you want to know how they're doing.
Indeed. So we'll, yeah. So, but he's fine and doing just. And he had no water damage or anything like that. That's good. Drew, go ahead.
So just for a technical hurricane knowledge, from a cellular perspective, you have AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile as your 3 carriers. Some people are subsidiaries of that, but those are the 3. Tuesday night, Verizon Wireless lost internet on their cell phones. So people had the ability to make phone calls, but and limited texting, but no internet. I have yet to speak to somebody with AT&T here in Florida to find out if they have service yet or restored or not. And for T-Mobile, Hewie is on T-Mobile directly and has all new equipment. And unfortunately, he does have hotspot capability, only for right now, the bandwidth on the T-Mobile internet is so slow, it's incapable of letting him get onto the internet with his laptop. I, on the other hand, have a subsidiary of Verizon Wireless. I lost internet on my phone through Thursday afternoon. I still have no cable internet. I'm using a Galaxy Tab S tablet as my computer screen and my phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot to do this Zoom video call. And so far, so good.
One of the things, Drew, we're going to talk about today in my segment is LTE and how important it is. If you may want to think twice about when you buy a laptop or a tablet about making sure it has LTE, because of course LTE will give you the emergency wireless broadcasts that come out through your carrier. Whereas if you if you lose internet, then you don't have that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes.
That's a good thing. I have lots of screenshots of all of the emergency alerts that did come out through my cell phone.
Yeah. Exactly.
About the flooding and the sheltering in place, and
yeah.
I have all those captured.
Good. We're going to talk about that today. That's part of one of the segment I'm going to talk about. Steve, go ahead.
Is there a way that you can undo CCleaner when you run it? I ran it this morning and it came up with a Windows dump file, memory dump file that was 4 gigabytes. And I just wanted to see what was in it, but CCleaner had wiped it out. Is there a way of bringing that back?
No, because it totally erases it. It doesn't put it into the trash can so that you can retrieve it. That's why you get asked, are you sure?
Yeah, well, until you see what it's going to remove. Usually I just click the preview thing so I can see it, but this morning I was in a rush and I just clicked that and all of a sudden there was a big dump file there.
Some things should not be rushed, Steve.
Yeah.
Removing things from the computer is one of those, especially when it totally disappears. I
hate-
imagine you can hire some forensic stuff and get it back, but
Oh,
for
no, there's an easier way than that. All I have to do is just restore
to a
back to
restore, if you have a
the
restore point,
Macrium.
yeah,
Yeah, the Macrium
Yep.
did a backup at 8 o'clock this morning.
okay. So that's your way of going back.
Yeah,
My
I always
problem-
have, always
Now,
make
you
sure
can-
I
you
have
can
more
also-
than one way of backing things up.
Right. You can also set up C Cleaner to make sure that it does a restore point before it does the cleaning.
Oh, can you? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
My problem is, you turn I'm hurrying in the morning, you get down to the office and you fire up the computer and all of a sudden you get all these, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And you go, yes, 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 yes. And you're not actually paying attention to what they're saying. And that could be, do you want to install the full version of Windows 11 2 minutes before the show starts? No. Elaine, go ahead.
Hi, Bob, you mentioned you can set a restore point on C Cleaner, and I think Avast does the same thing. There are 3 different categories and it has a little mark by that. Yes, I want to clean this up. Then there's a minus and then there's just a blank square. And I have never figured out what is going to happen when I click any of those things, and then it goes to another choice option and it says this will delete this and this and this, and I don't know what it is that they're saying they're going to delete or not delete, so I don't delete it. But number one question, how do I set up a restore point on C Cleaner or Avast before I do any of those cleanup things?
Well, step 1 is to go into Windows and make sure that it has the function to do that enabled, because sometimes Windows comes with restore points disabled. And there is a way of going into Windows settings and enabling the restore point feature and how much of percentage of the disk space the restore point is going to use. That's the first thing that you want to do. And if you type into the Windows search bar restore point or create restore point, it will bring you to the window where you can manage your restore point functions. And you can also go in there and look to see what restore points you have existing and when the last time it created one, so that you know if you're safe.
I think on Avast, one of those options, when you click on it and then it goes to the next option, it says delete old restore points. And I don't know, does that mean restore points older than the last restore point, or does that mean
Correct.
all restore points?
no, it leaves you the last one created and removes all the other ones prior to that.
Okay, we'll leave the last one.
Starting
Correct.
screensaver.
Sorry.
It sounded computer generated.
Okay, I'll take a closer look next time that happens. But when there's a minus there on that Avast choice, that means it's not going to do it, correct?
I don't know what you mean by a minus.
Well, there are 3 different choices when you say clean up computer. And one is old
Okay,
restore points.
I personally do not use the cleanup part in the Avast antivirus portion.
Oh,
I use C Cleaner to do the cleanup.
oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, for me, cleanup is one of the parts in the antivirus that, I'm sorry, that's not a antivirus function. I don't use it.
Okay.
That's what
But
CCleaner is supposed to be doing.
C
and
Cleaner
that's what it
does, C Cleaner does just as good a job in your opinion then.
It does a better job.
Okay, very good, thanks.
When you're trying to set the auto restore point to be created, is it in options or tools? Do you know where it's?
Should
where you
be
have
in
to do
your, it should be in your settings and your options.
options? Okay.
So welcome everyone. If you're if anyone here is new and you just signed on to the your first time at Tech for Senior. We'd sure like to hear from you. Just say hello and we'll introduce yourself. We're having just a bit of a chit chat before the meeting starts in 6 minutes. Murray, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
There, I found it. Is that okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Fine.
good. Okay, well, I have two questions. One, I guess, is about Avast. I've got the free version. I decided after listening to all the sessions here, I would try it. But boy, I find it really annoying about all the times it wants to do other things and have me pay money for an upgrade. I'm just wondering if you have any, if Bob has any comments about that, then I'll ask the other question.
Some things you can turn off in your settings itself. Anything to do with third party. And we can do that in the Q&A afterwards. I'll be happy to share my screen and show you just where you should be turning stuff off.
Okay, maybe I'll have to do that next time because I've got to take my wife to the doctor before this ends.
Yep.
Okay, and then the other question was really for Chris. I was watching the session yesterday about putting your Google Photos on the big screen, and somehow I missed it if it was mentioned. I maybe wasn't listening carefully or something, but I didn't catch how you set up the your TV so that you can watch all your stuff from photos.google.com on your big screen without casting it from a computer. Is that something that was in that session?
Yeah,
Maybe-
it's a device, Murray. It's called the Chromecast. It's about $35.
No. I have Chromecast built into my TV.
Well, I use the Home app on my phone. It's an app on the phone to control the Chromecast as far as telling it what to do in ambient mode. So it's casting, it's getting those photos.
So it is. So you are having to use a computer or your phone or something.
Well,
No?
just to start it.
Just to set it
Just
up.
to start it.
set it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You set it and then forget it. And
Yeah.
it just
Oh,
keeps
okay.
going.
And you described that in your session yesterday?
No, we didn't go into that detail, but
Oh.
Jim did answer in the chat here. And we did another show way back. Episode 189. And yeah, so
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look for episode 189 and that'll tell me how to set it up.
And
I-
Murray,
I
the other
think
thing is
so.
it depends on what, like, for example, on the TCL TVs, they have a built-in app called Photo, I can't remember, Photo something, and it links into Google Photos. It's an app right built into the TV. You just click it and say, open the app, and it says connect to Google Photos, and then you can choose all your albums and it plays it. Bingo. It's built right into the TV.
Yeah,
So
but you
it's-
still have to give it the credentials
Yes,
to find
yes,
your Google stuff. Your
that's right.
photos.
But once you've done it once, and that's built into the
Yeah.
TV, right?
And it's the same thing as the Chromecast. Chromecast just is a device if it's not built in. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, and mine is built in.
Okay. Well, you can
Thank you.
configure.
So 189, I'll remember that.
Yeah. Or
and 108, although that's getting pretty old. But
Yeah,
that's
Okay.
when we
Yeah, no,
actually
I
set it
sort
up.
of did a Google
there's
search
probably
on that.
newer stuff on the web on YouTube.
Well, the only
do a
thing I
search
found
there.
when I looked at Google search on how to do it, I came up with something that says how to do it and why you never should consider doing it. And it gave
All
all,
right.
it gave all kinds of reasons why you shouldn't do it, but it did get a very complicated way of doing it. But I didn't bother trying that. I thought I would wait and talk to you before I went and did anything like that. That
Hey,
might
this-
be very old, by the way.
This is their show, not ours.
Yeah.
Steve, go ahead.
Thank you.
Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, would you want CCleaner to wipe free space on an SSD drive?
No.
Because that was one of the options that was checked
Yeah.
on by default for
Well,
some reason.
Yeah, no. Why more activity when you don't need it?
Yeah, especially on an SSD drive because it
Right.
trims stuff like that anyway. Okay.
Well, one short question, time for one short question before we start the show. Nope, I guess we will get ready to go here. And we'll mute all.
Hewie in chat just said he couldn't maintain the connection.
Okay. Good morning. It's Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is October the 3rd. It is a sunny day here in Comox, British Columbia. It is the fall now, I guess. It's getting cool at night. Today's show will be 1 hour long. We're going to, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you're watching it as a YouTube replay, thank you again. And if you're watching it as a YouTube short, please click the link in the description and you'll take you right to the show. Today in the show, we have, of course, the security news update from Bob. I'm going to talk a little bit about hurricane preparedness. We have, of course, 4 Windows 11 tips by Bill James. We have Ray's going to talk about the Android phone launcher. I'm going to tell you how to save your pictures into Google Photos in one click. And we have the master here as well, Chris Gould, to make sure I do it right. So if she has if I don't do it right, she's going to certainly comment on that. And we have, of course, Bob is going to tell us what to do with all that leftover coffee. Obviously, today in our preamble, we were talking about all the coffee we drink. He's going to tell us what we do with it to get rid of it. Well, I know how to get rid of coffee. Anyway, we'll talk all about that shortly. So thank you so much for coming. Today on our premiere service, we have 3 videos for you today. We're going to talk about, Hewie's going to talk about screen and font size. Pretty interesting. He'll tell you all about what those fonts mean and so on and so forth. Bob's going to tell you about URLs in Edge and how Edge manages this. And then I'm going to talk about how to find the news. And we're going to talk about Google News. So those are the 3 features. And I will put a link in the notes today for the link to the video. Those of you who have our newsletter, of course, we have 2 newsletters that come out, one on Tuesday and one on Saturday. On the Saturday newsletter, I put of course, links to the show and to our premiere video, and then and also the agenda for the meeting. So if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, please do so. It's ad-free and we own the database. We're not going to share it with anybody, so you will get no spam whatsoever. We also have a show on Thursday called Tech for Senior Live. And we have, it's a very popular show now. We talk about news of the week. And so we're going to be, it'll be on this Thursday, but it's a little different. You're all in this Zoom show today. It's a Zoom meeting, and we have it streamed over to YouTube, which is fine. But our show on Thursday isn't a Zoom meeting. So please don't come to this link on Thursday, or you'll be sitting here all alone. And what we do on Thursday is we stream it from a company called StreamYard, and it goes out to our YouTube channel and to Facebook. Now you're going to say, well, how do I find that? Well, there's buttons on our webpage. Just go to our webpage, which of course is www.techforsenior.com. And if you go to that webpage, you will find buttons there. You just click the button and bingo, it'll take you right to where you want to go. And so we have a lot of time on Thursday, and we even podcast that out so that if you miss it on Thursday and you want to listen to our podcast, you can certainly do so. We have a great show for you today. Lots of interesting things to talk about. I'm going to introduce everybody now. I'm going to introduce Hewie in absentia. I think, well, he might be here. He's coming and going. He's gone. Huey's fine. As I mentioned earlier, Huey's perfectly okay. He's in Bradenton, Florida. They got hit pretty hard. Huey had no water damage to his house, which is fine. He still doesn't have power, so he's up at the recreation center. They have power and air conditioning and all sorts of and all the things he needs, and they're doing food and all that. So he's totally okay, and he had no damage to his house, which is great. He's just waiting for the power to come back on. Because if you're a techie guy and all the work you do is on a computer and you don't have power, well, that's a little bit of a problem. So anyway, he assures me the power's coming back tomorrow. So he'll probably be on our Thursday show and be here next week. But we do have, of course, Bob Gustisha here today. Bob does have power, and he's been working hard all week. And he's got all sorts of things to talk about today. Bob, how are you doing?
Just fine. Even better now, because when I passed by the site where our new cell tower is supposed to go up, they started working today. They're doing the drilling so that eventually that tower will wind up going up. So it's no longer a pipe dream. They've actually started construction.
Ah, that's great.
Yep.
Well, usually when they get going on those towers, like the one when they started in Mesa right next to our place, it goes up pretty quick. It
Yeah.
went up within 3 months. It was up. So good news, eh?
Correct. They have actually started construction.
There you go. That's great. And then of course Ray Baxter's here. Ray, you've been nothing to say. Pine, Arizona. All everyone's flocking down there now, eh? All snowbirds are heading south.
Yeah, well, it's quiet on the mountain front up here. Nothing really going on. We've kept it nice and quiet, which is the way I like it, of course.
Right. There you go. That's good. And Bill James from Oklahoma.
I'm here.
You're probably smiling and enjoying. You've had no power outages, any weather, nothing.
No, our weather has been pretty decent the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably need rain now, but other than that, weather's been perfect. It's been no more 100-degree temperatures.
Right.
So we're all happy.
You're all doing okay.
Yeah.
Now you're at the computer club today. Is that?
I'm at the computer club because I had to teach a class at 9 o'clock, and so I just brought my laptop with me here, so that's what I'm using.
Well, we're looking forward to your Windows 11 tips later on.
Well, I hope I'm going to do that live, so that's going to be a challenge.
Okay. And of course, we have Mike Ungerman here. Mike survived the storm. Mike, your solar panel stayed on your roof?
They stayed on the roof, and we didn't get much water here, but lots of flooding in the Orlando area.
Right. But your house is okay? You had no flooding in your house? Everything okay? Excellent.
We're so appreciative of Mike. He was a real trooper. That's for our Wednesday workshop. He gave a presentation in the middle of it all.
Right in the middle of the hurricane?
Pre-recorded, thankfully.
It worked out. Nobody knew. I mean, it was perfect.
And he was there live to answer the questions that came in. So it was an excellent presentation on the part of the three of us.
There you go. Technology, eh? Amazing. All right. Bob, are you ready to roll?
Yeah. Wow. Caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending September 30th, 2022. European Union-wide ban proposed for Kaspersky. The Russian antivirus provider has been named by 5 EU nations as warranting a ban throughout the region for its ambiguous stance on the invasion of Ukraine, although currently no evidence has emerged that it is spying for the Kremlin. Poland, Ireland, and the 3 Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, called for the ban on Friday as part of a raft of proposals, tougher sanctions on emergency and banking concerns linked to Russia. In the wake of spiraling oil prices and Vladimir Putin's decision to deepen the commitment to the invasion by conscripting reservists, Kaspersky has attracted increased suspicion since the outbreak of the war, with some believing its product could be leveraged by Russia as a parallel cyber war escalates in tandem with the conventional kinetic conflict in Ukraine. Read the whole article at Cyber News. Twitter admits failing to log out users after password reset. Twitter has confirmed that it has resolved an issue that was causing users to be signed into their accounts on various mobile devices even after they had reset their passwords, which meant that users who changed their passwords still had their accounts logged in on other devices using the old password. If you changed your password proactively on one device but still had an open session on another, the session may not have ended. Read the whole story at The Speed News. 21 hackers made over $1 million on HackerOne. Hacking is just a weekend hobby for some white hats, while others treat it as a way of making a living. Cyber News talked to HackerOne about the power of hackers. HackerOne, an attack resistance manager, was formed 10 years ago to empower the world to build a safer internet. With countless recent leaks and hacks, including Uber, Revolut, and Rockstar Games, we can all agree that it sure doesn't feel safe in the digital realm. Last year alone, hackers reported over 66,000 vulnerabilities through the platform, signaling a 20% increase from a year before. But some things have changed for the better. For one, good faith hackers are not villains anymore. Many companies embrace their help in a quest to protect both business and customers. Read more at Cyber News. Microsoft confirms 2 new Exchange zero-day flaws are being used in the wild. Microsoft officially disclosed it investigating 2 zero-day security vulnerabilities impacting Exchange servers 2013, 2016, and 2019 following reports of in-the-wild exploitation. The first vulnerability, identified at CVE 2022-41040, is a server-side request forgery vulnerability, while the second, identified as CVE 2022-41082, allows remote code execution when PowerShell is accessible to the attacker, the tech giant said. The company also confirmed that it's aware of limited targeted attacks, weaponizing the flaw to obtain initial access to targeted systems. See the Hacker News for more. A student loan breach exposes 2.5 million records. 2.5 million people were affected in a breach that could spell more trouble down the line. Ed Financial and the Oklahoma Student Loan Authority are notifying over 2.5 million loanees that their personal data was exposed in a data breach. The target of the breach was Nelnet Servicing and Lincoln Neb-based servicing system and web portal provider for OSLA and Ed Financial, according to a breach disclosure letter. Nelnet revealed the breach affected loan recipients on July 21st, 2022 via a letter. Read the whole story at the Threat Post. The Los Angeles Unified School District hackers set a Monday deadline for the school district to pay a ransom, or the private data of students and employees will be released on the dark web, officials said Friday. The deadline was posted on the dark website run by Vice Society, which claims to be responsible for the hack that LA Unified experienced during Labor Day weekend. In response, Superintendent Alberto Carvalho said the district will not pay the ransom or negotiate per the advice of law enforcement and federal officials. Carvalho would not name the amount that is being demanded by the syndicate, but said the demand was absurd. See more at patch.com. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. Posing as a friend is a particularly good move because we all want to help out the people we love and, a lot of times, people we once loved, which is why scammers will most likely pose as your friend. And here's why. Read the article at the link listed or watch my video on this topic at the YouTube link listed. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Don't go away, because I have a bonus that wasn't part of what was originally on the notification. There are 2 new security features in Windows 11 version 22H2 designed to help protect your passwords. These new features will only work if you sign into your computer with a password. They don't work if you currently sign in with either a PIN or some other format like facial recognition. Let me show you how to turn on these 2 new features. Start by selecting the Start button. Next, select Settings. Next, select Privacy and Security. Once this opens, we want to select Windows Security. Next, select App and Browser Control. When this opens, select Reputation-Based Protection. Next, under Phishing Protection. And there has been phishing protection for some time already, so this should be turned on. If not, make sure you turn this on. And as it states here, when you sign into Windows using a password, this helps to protect your password from malicious apps and sites. You'll notice 2 new features in here. One of them says, warn me about password reuse. So if you use that same password in more than one place, Windows will warn you, because you should only use a password once. Should not use the same password more than once. The other feature helps to protect your password if you fill it in an unsecured place, whether that's on the internet or it's on an unsecured app on the computer itself, like for instance Notepad. So let's turn these on. When you turn it on, you will have to give it permission. The same for the second one. Once these are on, you are now protected. Whenever you use the same password twice, you'll get a notice. And if you're filling in your password on an unsecured site or app, you'll be warned. 2 new things in Windows 11 22H2. 2 more reasons worth making the upgrade to 22H2, which was just recently released. Stay safe, stay secure. I hope that helps.
Thanks, Bob. That's great. I did my update and it just went very smoothly.
Yep.
It had no problem at all with it. So that's great. All right. I want to thank, this is a time I want to just take a moment and thank everyone for helping support Tech for Senior. As we go through the year, we do get donations through our coffee fund. And this week, George Bowden generously donated to our fund. So thank you so much, George, for donating and helping us pay the bills. Today, I want to move now into a segment that it's actually, we talked about this last Thursday. I played a video. I'm going to repeat it because I think this is such an important topic in light of the hurricanes that, of course, have occurred in Canada and the United States. And this is I want to talk a little bit about the wireless emergency alerts for a couple of reasons. First of all, you need to know how these work. And the second of all is that they're not often turned on your phone. So it's so important that you know how to turn these on and what they are. So I have a video today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you the video. So it's a short one. It's only under a minute, and we'll make sure you turn on these alerts. Now, you have to understand the alerts are sent out from. It depends on what area of the country or countries you're in, and it will be different. And these alerts come from your emergency preparedness area that you live in. So it will be different for everybody. But it is so important that you turn this on the phone, or you will not get these. The other thing that's important for you to know that these come through the cellular carrier. The cellular system that you use, not through Wi-Fi or the internet. Because as we talked earlier, if you oftentimes when we have a hurricane or the power's out, you don't get any Wi-Fi and you don't get any internet. So these alerts come through the cellular system and will be broadcast out. So this is an interesting thing. So if you are considering buying or using a tablet as your primary method of communication or whatever, you may want to consider making sure it has LTE, because that's how these alerts come out. Now you can turn these alerts on two ways, and I'm going to show you today through the messaging app how to turn it on. But you can also, at least on my Pixel phone, there's a section in the settings called Safety and Emergency, and you can also turn it on, and it's called the Emergency Locator Service, or wireless emergency alerts, and that's available in the Android settings. But I'm going to show you how to actually turn it on in your messaging app, which you'll see in a second. So let me just play this video, and then we might have a bit of a short talk about that. Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, wireless emergency alerts. To prepare for a hurricane, you need the National Weather Service alerts. This often is turned off on your cell phone. Let me show you how to turn it on. Click your messaging app, and once we get to messages, go up to the three-dot menu, and we're going to click Settings in the messaging app. We're then going to come down, and we're going to come to the Advanced section. Click Advanced. And here's where we're going to look at wireless emergency alerts. Click that. And this is going to bring up my wireless emergency alerts. Let's look at the settings menu. You can now toggle off extreme threats, severe threats, amber alerts, test alerts, and you can be notified by vibration or alert reminder. These are the emergency settings you need to set on your Android phone. So that, of course, will be, that's for an Android phone. Similar menus, I'm sure, will be for the iPhone, but it's important that you do have those turned on. And again, they will be different for each area of the country or countries that you're in, but it's important that is there, and then you'll be getting the emergency alerts from your weather from your weather center. If there's any questions about that, we'll probably leave that for the Q&A. I'll put the link in the for this video in the chat, so that if you want to play it again, you can certainly do so. Bill, are you about ready to roll? Bill James, where are you?
I am. I'm ready.
All right. Take it away, Bill.
All right. Thank you. We're going to just give a few tips on Windows 11. This is the 22H2 version, and I'm going to demo this live, so please bear with me. I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you'll be able to see that. The first thing I was going to just advise you about what's happening with the control panel and the settings app. As we get future updates to Windows 11, you're going to find a lot of your settings that were formerly in the control panel are now moving to the settings app. And for one example, there's several that was listed, was programs and features, device, printers, default programs, VPN, and advanced sharing settings. But for case in point, let's just take a look at, if I was to click on device and printers in the control panel, and when I click on it, you'll find it will take you to the settings. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to have to eventually get used to using the settings menu as opposed to the control panel. So if you're kind of stuck with using the control panel, I would kind of encourage you to try to get on board with the settings menu. And I've noticed that there's quite a bit of difference between the settings menu that was in Windows 10 to Windows 11. They completely revised it and revamped it. So there's a lot more granularity to it. In other words, you can get to a lot more settings to tweak, but the problem is just finding where they are and how to locate it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Say, for instance, if I wanted to find my programs and feature settings, you won't find that in Windows 11 anymore. In order to do that, to get to that particular feature now, you have to go to settings and go to apps. And then you'll find here, install apps, and this is where you can manage your apps, where you can uninstall applications that you no longer want. And also, as you notice in the apps, you'll see that there's a lot more other things besides just the uninstall. There's advanced app settings, default apps, offline. So the old programs and features that we're accustomed to has gone by the wayside. Likewise, if you want to manage your Windows Update, you can do that in Windows Update in the history settings, update history. You can find out all about all the ones that you, things that you have installed. You can also still do the paused updates for 1 week up to 5 weeks. And then, of course, you have advanced options here that you can go in and tweak how you want to receive the updates. And there's a lot of options to pick from. One of the things too I've noticed is that in I don't think this is particularly pertaining to Windows 11 per se, but they have done some things with the search menu. If you notice lately, when you click on that, you'll see something that comes up like, in this case, it's World Adventure Day. And it gives you a little information as to what's occurring on this particular day. That doesn't mean that you cannot type over that and do your regular search. But don't be alarmed when you select the search from the taskbar that you see something already populated that has to do with the particular day. And in this case, it's World Architecture Day. And on the right side, you'll see a little graphic of that kind of pertains to that particular event. And plus there's some other links that you can go and look at that as well. And so one thing is about another thing too, here's a little graphic that was on that particular day that I showed, but something else that you might be interested in is that now as a copy content from the web with using something called Web Select. So if I was to just click on this particular graphic and I wanted to copy this this picture, I could right click and you'll see something that's called Web Select. I can click on that and then I can just drag around this particular graphic and then hit copy. And then that copies it to my clipboard, or I can easily then go in and paste it. Let's see here. Easily paste it into, well, I want to use the header. And there's my picture. So that's a new feature that has showed up. One of the other things too is that, of course, it's able to organize our apps. It's like in this case, I'm using 2 screens, and I'm doing that fairly easily by using the new select area where I can move I can split my screen in several different ways just by clicking on the maximize button. I get these additional applications. So if I want to move, say for instance, what's on my left screen to the right, I would just click that, and then I would be able to make any kind of size that any way I wanted to. So it's really quite a handy way of being able to split your screen without having to do all the sliding and shifting that we used to do before. Organizing your apps on your new start menu is, if you think about these, used to be tiles in Windows 10, they're now icons, and you can move them around just as you would the tiles in the old format. Also, it scrolls down like so. It's very much like your smartphone. To get to all apps, that's all the applications you have installed on your computer, you just need to click on all apps, and that gives you the laundry list of everything you have installed. You can still right click on the app, and then you're allowed to pin it to start, or you can pin it to your taskbar. And you also have an uninstall feature here as well. So you can uninstall that particular application right from your all apps menu. keep in mind too that the start menu is divided into sections. For some reason, they have this listed as recommended, and I think this is more pertaining to recent applications that you've used, but they, for some reason, want to say recommended. When you go to the more, you'll find a list of all the items that you have used within the past couple hours, days, and weeks. So that kind of takes care of it for my tips today. So hopefully you will be able to explore more about Windows 11. I think it's a really great system and very worth upgrading to if you can do so.
Thanks, Bill. That's great. Will you be available in the Q&A afterwards for any questions?
I will not be, unfortunately. I got to give another
Okay.
Zoom presentation immediately following.
All right, that's fine then. That was a good presentation. I have some questions, but we'll maybe do the questions next week.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, thanks so much, Bill. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about saving photos in Gmail and to Google Photos. So I'm going to play a little video now for you. I guess it prompted me to make this video because I was over helping someone the other day, and they were doing the slow way, the 3-click way to put videos into Google Photos from Gmail, and I thought, don't you know about this new feature? Well, I guess a new feature. And so I thought I'd just show everyone just to make sure that you're doing the 1-click method rather than the 3-click method. So let's have a look and see what how this all works out. Let me share my screen. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Today I want to show you how to save your pictures from Gmail on your PC directly into Google Photos in a 1-click process. Let's have a look how it's done. Now in this video, I'm going to show you 2 ways of going about this. My wife has sent me an email that has 2 inline pictures. They could also be attached pictures in my Gmail. I want to put them directly into Google Photos. The first way I'm going to show you is the old way you probably do it, and that's where we download the images to our PC, upload them to Google Photos, and then put them in a folder. In the second part of this, I'm going to show you how to do it with 1 click. Poof, right. It goes right from Gmail right into your folder in Google Photos. So let's have a look at how this works. Let's open the email from my wife. Step 1. State Trials is the name of the email, and there are 2 pictures of Sam here. And here are the 2 pictures that I want to upload to Google Photos. We're going to, first of all, download these. You'll see the little download button here. We're going to click this, and we're going to download this picture into our downloads directory on my PC. I'm going to label the first one Sam, and we're going to place this in the downloads directory. This is the step 1 procedure. There we go. We're going to do the same thing with the second picture, and we're going to call it Sam1. Both these are saved now on my local drive. Let's have a look. Here we come up to our downloads directory, and we'll see Sam and Sam1. Both pictures are on my downloads directory on my PC. We now have to get them into Google Photos. So let's come over to Google Photos. We're going to click Google Photos. And in Google Photos, we're going to do step 2. And we're going to upload these from my computer into Google Photos. We're now going to select these. We're going to come back over to my hard drive and select both pictures. And we're going to upload these into Google Photos. Step 3 is we're going to add them to the album called Grandchildren. We're going to complete this, And then I'll open the album up and you'll see both of the pictures there. So here's the album called Grandchildren, and there are the two pictures of Sam as a 3-click process. So let's go back to that email and have a look at the picture of Sam. I'm going to take my cursor now and I'm going to bring it to the bottom of the picture. And I want you to pay attention to the 3 little boxes here. The first box is the download box. This is what I used in the last demonstration. The next one is add to Google Drive. This is not a good idea because if you click this, it will simply add it to the root directory in Google Drive, which will not be in Google Photos. Unless you have a specific reason to add it to a file in Google Drive, I would skip this. On the right hand, you see a new box and it's called Save to Photos. Why they didn't save it to Google Photos, I don't know, but this is to Google Photos. If you click this button, this will save this picture directly to Google Photos and you will not have to download it and upload it. So let's see what happens when I click this. Save to Photos. So how do I get the picture directly into the folder called Grandchildren as a one-step click? Well, let's have a look at this. As you see on my timeline, you'll see a picture of Sam. Now this is just in my regular Google Photos. This is in where I keep all the pictures. How does it get into the album? Let me show you how this works. Let's create a new album. And we're going to call this Create a New Album. And we're going to call this Sam Test. Now, when we want to add pictures, we're going to come down here and select People and Pets. Let me click this, and we're going to come along here, and here's a picture of Sam. So this is, I'm going to click this. So all the pictures of Sam will be added to that album. I'm going to let it notify me when all the photos are added, and then I'm going to confirm this. And it's going to load all the pictures in my directory, which are thousands and thousands of pictures going back to his birth. And they're going to put these into my album called Sam Test. And I can also notify or invite family and friends to add them as well. So let's click here and we're going to start, we're going to choose my wife to add pictures here as well. So when I choose her, we're going to send her an email, and she's now going to be added to this album. So you'll see, of course, there's myself, you'll see there's my wife, and any pictures that we take that we save to Google Photos, facial recognition will identify that these are of Sam, and they will automatically add it to our this album called Sam Test. So we've set one up for our grandchildren, and we have all our grandchildren in there. So any pictures we take that go into our photo albums are automatically put into the album called Grandchildren. This is through facial recognition in Google Photos. One step, right from Gmail to Google Photos. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, right from Gmail into your Google Photos album. One click. You remember the like and subscribe? I'd sure appreciate it if you'd give us a subscribe and click that like button. Until we see you again, have a great day and enjoy your Google Photos. All right. Ray, are you ready to roll?
Yes, I am now.
Yeah, but you forgot something, didn't you?
I got things out of order.
You're a step ahead of yourself,
Yes,
right?
but that's all right.
Okay, forgive me. As I said earlier, my first mistake of the year.
You're in control.
You thought I was perfect, didn't you?
I did, but now you burst the bubble.
All right, let's go find out what to do with all that leftover coffee and the coffee grind.
Well, hold on. Ray, do you want to do? Hold it, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob, do you want to? Well, Bob, go play your segment, and then we'll do Ray can do both of his together.
Fine, that sounds good.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
So what are you doing with your leftover coffee? That leftover coffee sitting on your counter just might be able to transform your home, cooking, and beauty routines. Just a few easy steps and your everyday leftovers can make a big difference. Coffee isn't just for drinking anymore. My thanks to Amanda Prahl, whose article inspired this video. Please read her whole article at the link listed. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and get involved. Both leftover coffee, as in the actual liquid, and coffee grounds can have an array of uses within your home. They can perk up your food and drink, repel pests, and turn into do-it-yourself solutions for plenty of issues that crop up in your daily life. Plus, you're improving your sustainable habits. Here are just a few ways you can get the most out of those caffeinated leftovers. Let's start with coffee ice cubes. Coffee ice cubes are an easy hack for a few quick and tasty coffee drinks. Add them to fresh hot coffee to cool it down and make an instant iced coffee without watering down the drink. Or pour some milk over the cubes and let them dissolve to create an instant iced latte. You can even bake with leftover coffee. Adding a teaspoon or so of fresh espresso is a popular hack to deepen and highlight chocolate flavor, whether in a baked item like a cake or brownie, or in a chocolate ganache or frosting. The idea is usually to get just enough espresso to enrich the chocolate flavor without making the recipe simply coffee flavored. Did you know that you can keep pests away with coffee grounds? Between the smell and the toxicity, coffee grounds can help to keep away mosquitoes, beetles, flies, slugs, and other home and garden pests. Just follow these steps for a pest-free home. Collect used coffee grounds after brewing. Set in small bowls around the area you want to keep pest-free. Alternately, or in addition to step 2, sprinkle some of the grounds around your patio, outdoor seating, and or doors to your home. If you have a garden, sprinkle some coffee grounds around the perimeter. It's a win all around. You get a cleaner, pest-free patio and garden, and it's all done using a sustainable natural option, reducing waste and avoiding toxic, smelly chemicals. You can even remove stubborn odors with coffee grounds. All you have to do is let your leftover coffee grounds dry out, then try one of these ideas. Pour a small amount into a container or bowl and leave it in the fridge or freezer to absorb food smells. Pour a small amount into an old thin sock or pantyhose and tie off to make a deodorizing sachet for your closet, gym bag, or anywhere else. Keep a small bowl by the sink and use some to rub over your hands after handling some smelly foods like garlic or onions. Use coffee grounds to exfoliate. Leftover coffee grounds can turn into a beauty hack. I bet you wish you had known about this sooner. Follow these steps for an easy do-it-yourself face and body scrub. Combine equal parts used coffee grounds and brown sugar. Add a small amount of coconut oil or jojoba oil just until the ingredients form a loose paste. Apply to the skin, gently massaging as you go to get the exfoliating properties. Let sit for 3 to 5 minutes, then rinse and wipe thoroughly using cold water. Use coffee grounds to repair or cover up scratches on wood furniture. Coffee can leave behind dark, hard-to-remove stains, which is a pain for your laundry, but great for restaining small scratches on your wood furniture. Try this simple process to cover up scratches on your furniture. Let wet coffee grounds cool completely. Scoop a small amount of the cooled, still wet grounds onto the scrubbed, scratched area. Let it sit for a few minutes. The longer it sits, the darker the stain will be, so you may need to check the grounds more frequently for lighter colored wood. Gently wipe away with a soft cloth. If the stain is not dark enough on top of the scratch, repeat the process until it is sufficiently repaired. Why not clean your dishes and cookware with coffee grounds? Because coffee grounds are both abrasive and somewhat acidic, they can work great to break down grime and get your dishes, pots, pans, and utensils clean. This is not recommended for delicate or porous dishes. Follow these steps to tackle stubborn grime on your dishware. Begin by rinsing the dishes with your usual warm soapy water. Put a couple of teaspoons of coffee grounds on the dishes where you want to scrub. Then scrub gently using a regular dish sponge. Repeat if needed until it's clean. Wash and rinse as normal to remove the coffee residue. You can also use these coffee grounds for cleaning kitchen surfaces like sinks or grills. Just be careful to avoid using them on particularly porous or unfinished materials, as a coffee residue may seep in and leave stains behind. Bet you never realized that coffee isn't just for drinking anymore. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Good news, Bob. I'm going to go and put some on my face, right?
It works well to stain your furniture. I have tried that part myself.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Ray, my apologies again for changing the order, but we are all excited about your 2 sessions now. Ray, can you pause between and I'll turn off the YouTube feed before your music section?
Sure, good. Thanks for
Okay.
reminding me. Yep,
Okay.
will do. Okay, Android phone launchers. I wonder how many people realize these actually exist. The Google Play Store is packed with Android launchers of all types. Now, what is a phone launcher? Well, a phone launcher is part of the Android user interface, and it lets users customize the home screen so it resembles a non-Android device. Now, as an example, there are several iPhone launchers available in the Google Play Store. So after installation, your home screen will look like an iPhone, and the gestures to access the features will be like an iPhone. I can see this being useful for perhaps 2 situations. One, someone who has recently changed from iOS to Android, but still wants the interface they're used to. And then, of course, there's always the person that wants to make others think they have an expensive iPhone when all they can afford is a budget Android. So Windows phones. Who remembers Windows phones? Well, my smartphone in the early 2000s was a Windows mobile device from HTC. And all my subsequent smartphones were Windows devices, the last one being the HP Elite X3 from 2016. There were many features I appreciated about this mobile operating system. High on the list was the ability to adjust the size of the live tiles and make the home screen to my liking. Now here's, of course, and most of you that have an Android phone, of course, know the typical Android screen. This is the main home screen is showing 15 icons there. And if you look at the dots below the second row, they signify there could be even more icons on 4 other home screen pages. For me, these icons are too small, and most I'll never use. Now, I understand you can take the time to rearrange and delete, but simply put, this format has never appealed to me. Enter the Square Home app. The Square Home launcher is inspired by the Metro user interface of Windows 10. It's a Windows phone launcher, giving your phone files, or rather giving your phone tiles that can be adjusted to 5 preset sizes plus a custom selection. The Square Home app is available in the Google Play Store and has a free trial period. If you had a Windows phone and like the tile structure, you'll surely be happy with Square Home. And here, this is what my new flip phone looks like when it's open. And nice large tiles and messages, email, get onto the internet with Chrome, 3 different news sources. If we need to go to Outlook. When I want to see even more, I click on the applications button, and then the application screens open up. And again, with large tiles showing all the applications that I have on my phone. So I really like this, and I've done this with the last 2 Android phones I have. And if you're like me and you like the old Windows interface, then the Square Home app is something you want to look into. All right, now onto the music. I'm going to pause now and let Ron do his thing.
Thanks, Ray. For those of you who are over on the YouTube listening, thank you for coming. Don't forget the Premier service that we have. I put the link in the chat. You're welcome to come over. We still have room here over in our Zoom meeting if you want to participate in the Q&A.